Hi friends, today I want to share something really personal. The journey of eczema with our baby girl for the first year of her life. I've been trying to do several takes of this video already, but I get quite emotional and hence I have my notes with me, so bear with me as I read it to you. So today I'm going to walk you through the timeline, things that we did, things that didn't work, and hopefully this just gives you a little bit of encouragement as well. My prayer in sharing this story is simple, that another mom or dad listening might feel a little less alone, that you'll find a thread of hope, even if you're in the middle of a mess right now, and that you'll be reminded that no matter what, you are doing the best that you can, and it is not your fault. Our baby girl was born last September, and I often describe her birth like a drive-through. I went in pregnant and came out the other end with a baby in my arms. It was fast, furious, but so empowering. From the start, she was a chill, very sweet baby. She slept long stretches. She never got bothered by soiled diapers. She peed and pooped great, and despite having both a tongue and lip tie, she nursed well enough and didn't hurt me at all. We did get those ties released at 5 months, which was another hurdle, but she handled it like a champ. As a second-time mom, I was savoring these moments, especially because I had 2 under 2, and I was so grateful for how smooth things were going. But around the 2-month mark, this is when things began to change. It started subtle, just a little bit of redness on her cheeks, a little bit of cradle cap on her scalp, but within weeks, her whole face was inflamed, oozing, and raw. This was late November and just after her first set of vaccines. I don't believe vaccines were the only trigger, but they did seem to tip her fragile immune system over the edge. And keep in mind, at this age, babies are losing the antibodies they borrowed from the mom during pregnancy. Their own immune system is immature, trying to decide what's safe and what's a threat. And combine that with just thinner skin, weaker barriers, and a higher skin pH, their skin is very, very vulnerable. Our doctor and dermatologist recommended hydrocortisone, and on paper, it was a standard of care. But with my own history of eczema and my sister having gone through topical steroidal withdrawal, I was hesitant. I knew it was just a band-aid solution. So as a dietitian and breastfeeding mom, I turned to food. I cut out dairy, then gluten, then soy, nuts and seeds, even mustard. For weeks, my diet was stripped bare, basically eating meat, veggies, fruit, and I can't forget those roasted sweet potatoes. Eating out was impossible. Sauces, condiments, packaged foods, all gone. It was isolating, exhausting, and honestly, really disheartening. Because despite all the sacrifice, my baby's face was still raw and bleeding. And I remember thinking, what more can I do? By Christmas, we decided to trial formula. That was a heartbreaking decision. I hadn't planned to stop breastfeeding so soon. With my first, breastfeeding also had been cut short, and it felt like history repeating itself. We chose hip hypoallergenic formula, and at first she refused every bottle. I was panicking, and then until Christmas Eve at 7 p.m. during a family dinner, she finally drank 4 ounces with my husband. I cried tears of relief, a Christmas miracle. For a week, things were stable, not worse, but not getting better either. Then we ran out of the hip hypoallergenic formula, and while waiting for another shipment, because it's a European brand, we tried Enfamil Nutrimogen, the Canadian equivalent. Within the day, her back was covered in angry red bumps. I sobbed, feeling like I failed her. That night, we had no choice but to breastfeed her again since we're out of formula. But remember, I was drying up my milk. So thank God my body responded, and within a few days, my milk production was regulated again. Looking back, that failed formula experiment was a turning point. The HIP formula used lactose as its sugar, while Enfamil used corn syrup solids. That was the only difference. We began suspecting corn. Sure enough, wherever corn syrup or cornstarch showed up, her eczema worsened. It was our first big clue. But even after eliminating corn, her eczema persisted. We tried everything: air purifiers, humidifiers, silk sheets, probiotics, creams, oils. We did a gut microbiome test. We even tested for mold. Each day felt like trial and error. The reality of daily life was heartbreaking. She had to wear these little silk mittens that we made. And then at night, we would put her in we would first put scratch sleeves on her. So this would be on her, tied up. It's like a shrug, basically, but with mitts. And then we would also put her in this straight jacket at night so that she wouldn't scratch. She oozed so much that I would have to change her silk sheets several times a night. And then during the day, we would wear this, which my mother-in-law made, so that none of our clothing would irritate her as we carried her. I held her constantly, always in one arm. My wrist ached. I literally cooked, vacuumed, read, and played with my daughter with one hand. But the saddest moment was watching her rub her face on the floor during tummy time, because the floor was more abrasive and could give her some relief. And yet, in the middle of that long winter, there was one small rhythm that became my daily lifeline. Every afternoon, I bundled both girls up, pushed them in the stroller, and even in the biting negative temperatures, for those 2 hours, they both slept so soundly, so peacefully. I knew my baby girl wasn't hurting herself, and my arms for once could rest. The cold air was sharp, but the quiet was so healing. Those walks became my reset button each day, a reminder that even in the hardest season, there could still be moments of peace. I cried almost daily. Anytime someone would ask, "How are you doing?" I would tear up. I was overwhelmed, exhausted, and angry at God for allowing wave after wave. But God gave me enough strength each day to keep going. And in March, we visited my parents in British Columbia. Those 2 weeks were like water in the desert. My husband and I even had 1 hour to ourselves. No girls, no kids, and it flew by. But it was enough to give me and help me breathe again, to reset my nervous system for the fight ahead. Then in April, another breakthrough. I tried an electrolyte beverage, then breastfed her, and within an hour, her eczema flared horribly. And the ingredient, citric acid. I researched and discovered that most citric acid is manufactured from corn. Suddenly, it clicked. Citric acid was literally everywhere, from our hand soap to the shampoo that we were using, the probiotics I was giving her, and even Tylenol. Once we eliminated citric acid, everything shifted. The redness faded, the itching slowed, and for the first time in months, she was actually comfortable in her skin, and her joyful little personality began to shine through. Today, her skincare routine is quite simple. Dead sea salt baths twice a week, hypochlorous spray, and then active skin repair gel during flares. And she still gets itchy time to time whenever she gets sick, but overall she's thriving. She can sleep without restraints, she can play freely, she giggles, she laughs. My arms are free again, but more importantly, my baby is free. I'll forever be thankful to the friends and family who showed up. The ones who came in wearing soft cotton clothes, held her without hesitation, and left covered in ooze and blood, but never complained. You were God's hands to us, reminding me I wasn't alone. To any parent walking through this now, please know this is just a season. It feels endless, but it will pass. And one day you'll look back and realize how strong you were, how much you carried. Keep asking questions, keep searching for root causes, even when doctors say there's no other solution but creams. Medications can help, but they don't tell the whole story. Your baby is lucky to have you fighting for them. And you, mama, you're not alone.